Have you ever noticed that in your worst nightmares, you always wake up before the end? A car about to hit you, a falling building, an imminent attack. But what if someone had already gone beyond that point? Some people claim that died in your dreams. And what they describe is frightening, an absolute emptiness, a feeling of being pulled out of reality, or even waking up in another completely different world. Science has some explanations, but there are details that simply don't make sense. Does your brain really stop you from dreaming about your own death? Or is there something we shouldn't see? You will discover the most disturbing theories, the most inexplicable stories, and evidence that could change the way you see your own dreams. Get ready, because after this video, you may never sleep the same way again. In your dreams, you might be falling from a building, getting hit by a car, or even being attacked by something, but you never really feel death. Whenever it's about to happen, you wake up, as if your mind pulled you back at the last second. But why does this happen? The reason is simple and, at the same time, scary. Your brain doesn't know what comes after death. He's never been through this before. Everything you dream about, places, people, sensations, are built from memories and experiences that you have already had or at least seen at some point in your life. But death? This is information that simply doesn't exist in your mind. Your brain doesn't have enough data to simulate the experience of dying, so it blocks you before you get to that point. Now, imagine that your subconscious is like a great movie director, creating scenarios and stories while you sleep. He can make you fly, put you in places you've never been, even make you feel pain and fear. But what if suddenly there comes a moment that he can no longer create? This is exactly what happens when you are about to die in the dream. It's as if your own brain stops and says, "This is the limit. I can't go from here." But there is something even stranger. There are reports of people who say they managed to go all the way, that instead of waking up before death happened, they felt something very different. Some talk about total darkness, a void without sound, without images, without time, as if consciousness simply disappeared. Others report something even more bizarre. After dying in the dream, they did not wake up, but rather reappeared in another place, as if they had entered a new dream, a new world, without any explanation. Could it be that, in these cases, the brain invented a new ending? Did he create a new reality to avoid facing the unknown? Or is there something beyond what we can understand? The big question is, if your mind is everything to prevent you from dying in your dream, it may be because, somehow, it knows that going beyond that limit can change something inside you. Is there a point of no return? Could it be that those who actually made it to the end were never able to tell what happened? Before you continue, if you have ever had strange dreams and want to discover their hidden meanings, sign up now. Every week, we reveal mysteries of the subconscious that no one tells you. Don't miss the next video. Let's go. Your body and mind have one goal: to keep you alive, all the time. And this applies not only to real life, but also to dreams. Your survival instinct is always active, even when you're sleeping. That's why, whenever you come close to dying in a dream, something happens. You wake up, the scenery changes, or the dream simply stops. But why? Our brain evolved to avoid any situation that could put our lives at risk. In the real world, this happens when you feel scared walking down a dark alley, or when your heart races when you hear a strange noise in the middle of the night. It's your defense instinct saying, "Get out of there, something could happen." Now, in dreams, this same mechanism is present. If you're about to fall from a building, get run over, or get shot, your brain reacts the same way. He understands that it is a danger and does everything to prevent the experience from going to the end. But here comes something strange. There are people who say they have already managed to circumvent this mechanism. Instead of waking up before impact, they claim they actually died in the dream. And what happened next is bizarre. Some say their body felt paralyzed for a few seconds upon waking, as if their mind was trying to process something that shouldn't have happened. Others report that, after dying in the dream, they did not wake up, but rather were born in a new dream, as if they had passed into another reality within their own mind. And this leads us to an intriguing question. What would happen if your brain could no longer protect you? If, for some reason, he let you go all the way? Does the survival instinct that protects us in the real world also have a limit in dreams? What's more, if you really die in your dream and you feel it, could your body react as if it were real? Have you ever imagined if death in a dream was not the end, but rather the beginning of something much bigger? Some cultures believe that when you die in a dream, your consciousness doesn't disappear. It crosses over into another reality, as if, instead of waking up, you simply continued existing in a new place, in a new body, maybe even in a new life. It may sound crazy, but there are many intriguing reports about this. Some people say that after dying in a dream, they woke up with strange memories. Memories of places they never visited, people they never met, and even moments that seemed to belong to another life. Others describe the experience as a rebirth within their own dream. When they died, they did not wake up, but rather reappeared in a new environment, as if they had been transported to a new dimension. Could this explain phenomena like déjà vu? You know, that feeling that you've already lived a moment before, even though you know it's impossible? What if these memory fragments came from parallel realities accessed through dreams? And there's more. Lucid dreams, those in which you realize you are dreaming and can control what happens, also raise questions about this. Some people who have experienced death in a lucid dream say that, instead of waking up, they felt like they were trapped in another plane, unable to return for a few minutes or even hours, as if the mind is wandering to an unknown place before returning to the body. Science still cannot fully explain these phenomena, but many theories point out that dreams can be much more than just a creation of our mind. What if, by dying in a dream, you are actually crossing a boundary? Could it be that your consciousness is exploring something that we do not yet understand? Or is there something we shouldn't discover? What if I told you that you already died in a dream, but you didn't even realize it? Your brain is a master at manipulating reality, and that includes dreams. When something happens that he doesn't know how to process, like the experience of death, he simply erases, distorts, or resets everything without you being aware of it. Some theories suggest that whenever you die in a dream, your mind acts quickly and changes the narrative to prevent you from realizing what happened. Have you ever had that strange feeling that a dream has suddenly changed? As if you were running away from something and, out of nowhere, you're somewhere else, living in a completely different situation? Or did you dream that you were in an accident, but instead of feeling death, the dream simply continued, as if nothing had happened? This could be your brain editing the dream in real time, skipping the moment of death so you never have the chance to experience it. This would also explain why many people report waking up just before the final impact. What appears to be a simple reflex can actually be a much deeper defense mechanism. Your brain may be interrupting the experience before you realize what's happened, like a director cutting a forbidden scene from a movie. And there's something even more bizarre. Some people who practice lucid dreaming say that when they try to force the experience of death, they feel a sudden blackout. The dream disappears completely, and then they wake up without remembering anything that happened in the last few moments, as if the mind had activated an emergency button and simply deleted that part of the memory. But why would your brain do that? Is he protecting you from something that shouldn't be seen? Or is there a truth about death in dreams that we can never access? Most people who have had this experience wake up before reaching the end point, as if the brain is pulling an emergency brake. But there are those who claim that death in the dream happened, and what came after is nothing like we would expect. Some describe endless darkness. There is no pain, there is no sound, there are no images. Just an absolute void, as if consciousness had been ripped out of existence. These people report that for a moment, they felt like they no longer existed, until suddenly they woke up, often scared, out of breath, as if they had been brought back from some unknown place. Others say that when they died in the dream, they underwent a kind of rebirth. The dream didn't end. It continued, but in a completely different place, as if they had passed through a portal. Some of these people claim that they woke up in a new life within their own dream, with no memory of who they were before. only with the feeling that something was wrong. There are still those who report stranger experiences. People who, when dying in their dream, felt a shock in their real body, as if they had been hit hard before waking up. Others say that at the moment of death, they heard voices, whispers, or felt a presence watching them. And the scariest thing, some of these people began to have frequent déjà vus after the experience, as if they were accessing memories of something they shouldn't remember. If all this is true, what really happens when we die in a dream? Is our consciousness going elsewhere? Are we accessing a deeper level of the mind? Or are we somehow seeing something we should never see? Have you ever wondered if dreaming about your own death can affect your real body? Because science suggests so, and the effects may be more profound than we realize. Our brain does not fully separate dreams and reality while we sleep. When we have an intense dream experience, our body can react as if it were really happening. The heart accelerates, breathing changes, and even blood pressure can change. Now imagine what happens when your brain simulates its own death. Research indicates that when dreaming about extreme situations, such as falls, accidents, or attacks, the nervous system can trigger a real stress response. Some medical reports suggest that, in rare cases, this can lead to an intense rush of adrenaline, causing everything from irregular heartbeats to episodes of temporary paralysis upon awakening. And there is something even more intriguing. There are records of people who have had near-death experiences and reported very similar dreams in the previous days. This raises a scary question. Could our subconscious somehow predict a breakdown in the body before it happens? Could the brain simulate death as a warning? Science is still far from fully understanding what happens when we dream about death. But one thing is certain. Your brain reacts to these dreams as if your life were, in fact, at risk. And perhaps, in some cases, he is right. The truth is that dreaming about your own death remains one of the greatest mysteries of the human mind. Some explanations say that it is just a reflex of our subconscious, a defense mechanism of the brain to keep us alive. Other theories suggest there's something much deeper going on, perhaps accessing unknown parts of consciousness, or even something that science can't yet explain. What we know for sure is that almost no one reaches the end in the dream. Whether it's a survival instinct, a brain block, or something we shouldn't see, our mind always finds a way to get us out of that situation before the last moment. But what about those who say they once died in a dream? What really happened to them? Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a dream where you felt like you were dying? Did you make it to the end, or did you wake up early? And most importantly, what do you think really happens if someone dies in the dream? Leave your comment below, because I want to know your opinion. And if you like this type of content and want to understand more about the mysteries of sleep, the mind, and dreams, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This way, you don't miss any new videos. See you next time.